The starship Aurora drifted silently through the void of the Zeta Quadrant, its hull reflecting the pale light of a distant sun. Commander Elias Gray sat in the pilot's chair, fingers tapping nervously against the console. This was not a routine mission. Reports of an alien princess holding a mysterious bunker on the fringe of human-explored space had drawn the attention of the United Earth Council. Rumors said she was brilliant, dangerous, and, most importantly, ready to test any human who dared approach her domain. Elias exhaled slowly, staring at the blinking coordinates. "No one has ever made it past her defenses," he muttered. "If this is a trap, we're done before we even start." Behind him, Lieutenant Mara Chen adjusted her comm headset. "Elias, the intel says she's testing humans for intelligence, skill, and courage. Not for diplomacy. She doesn't care who you are. She cares if you survive." Elias grimaced. "Survive? That doesn't exactly inspire confidence." The Aurora approached the asteroid field where the bunker was hidden. Massive rocks floated lazily in zero gravity, some streaked with ancient markings. The sensors detected faint energy signatures within one of the largest asteroids. This had to be it. "Preparing landing sequence," Elias said. The ship's thrusters flared as they carefully navigated through the tumbling rocks. Every movement had to be precise. A single collision could tear the ship apart. Finally, the Aurora landed on a flat surface near the hidden entrance. A massive door, etched with alien symbols, blocked their path. It looked almost alive, pulsing faintly with a blue light. Elias approached, trying to scan the door with the ship's instruments. "Nothing," he muttered. "It doesn't respond to any of our codes." "Maybe it wants us to think," Mara suggested. "Sometimes alien tech isn't about brute force, it's about solving the puzzle." Elias nodded slowly. "Then let's hope we're smart enough." He placed his hand on one of the symbols. The moment he did, the door vibrated and a hidden panel slid open. A ramp descended into darkness. "Well, she likes clever humans," Elias said with a half-smile. Mara checked her weapon and flashlight. "Caution, she's probably watching." Inside the bunker, the air smelled faintly metallic, mixed with something unfamiliar, like ozone after a storm. The corridor was wide, illuminated by glowing lines on the floor. Holographic symbols flickered on the walls, changing constantly, almost like they were alive. Suddenly, a soft, melodic voice echoed through the hall. "Welcome, human, you have come far. Few do, fewer survive." Elias froze. "Did you hear that?" Mara nodded, eyes wide. "It's her, the princess." The voice continued, smooth and commanding. "You will face challenges. Only those who adapt, think, and act with courage will pass. Are you ready?" Elias swallowed hard. "We don't really have a choice, do we?" "Not if we want answers," Mara said. The corridor opened into a large chamber. In the center stood a figure, tall and graceful, with shimmering skin that reflected the blue light from the walls. Her eyes glowed faintly, showing intelligence and awareness beyond human comprehension. This was the alien princess herself. "I am Princess Thalira," she said, her voice calm but filled with authority. "Many have come before you, few have returned. Humans, I am curious. Can you survive what I have prepared?" Elias took a deep breath. "We'll do our best." Thalira nodded once and stepped aside. "Then begin." At her gesture, the floor shifted beneath their feet. Panels slid apart, revealing a maze of shifting platforms suspended over a deep chasm. Holographic symbols floated above each path, some glowing green, others red. A misstep could mean falling or worse, triggering unknown defense systems. "Looks like a test of balance and logic," Mara whispered. Elias studied the patterns. "The symbols must be clues. Green means safe, red means danger. But there's a pattern. See how the green ones form a path if you follow the logic." Mara nodded. "Then we move carefully, step by step." They began crossing. Each step required careful calculation, timing, and observation. Occasionally, panels shifted or disappeared, forcing them to adapt instantly. It was exhausting, but Elias felt a thrill he hadn't felt in years. This was survival, yes, but it was human ingenuity at work. Halfway across, a section of the floor dropped suddenly. Elias grabbed Mara's hand, yanking her to safety. "She's testing reflexes too," he shouted. Mara laughed, adrenaline pumping. "And our teamwork." Finally, they reached the other side. The platforms retracted and a new passage opened. At the end of this corridor was a control room, walls lined with alien technology far beyond human comprehension. Screens displayed puzzles, mathematical problems, and strategy games, but all in alien symbols. Princess Thalira appeared again, floating slightly above the floor. "This is your next trial. Intelligence, creativity. Can a human solve what I cannot?" Elias approached the controls, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. "We'll give it a try." Mara examined the symbols, her analytical mind working quickly. "It's logic-based," she said. "Patterns repeat, but in layers. If we can recognize the sequence." Hours passed as they worked, solving each puzzle, combining human intuition with careful observation. Occasionally, the princess would offer cryptic hints, testing not just their brains but their ability to read her intentions. Finally, the last puzzle clicked into place. A loud chime echoed through the bunker. Lights shifted, revealing a massive chamber beyond, filled with artifacts, maps, and devices that could change human understanding of the universe. Princess Thalira appeared before them, bowing slightly. "You have survived the first trials. Humans are fascinating. You adapt, you think, you endure. Few species show such potential." Elias exhaled, exhausted but exhilarated. "We're not done yet, are we?" Thalira smiled faintly. "No, the greatest challenges lie ahead. But now I know you are capable of more than I expected. Prepare yourself. The next trial will test your courage, your creativity, and your very essence." As they moved deeper into the bunker, Elias realized something incredible. Humanity had never faced an alien mind like this before, and somehow, for the first time in his life, he felt the thrill of standing toe-to-toe with the unknown and maybe, just maybe, proving that humans could survive anything. The bunker's doors closed behind them with a hiss. The trial was only beginning. The deeper Elias Gray and Mara Chen ventured into the bunker, the more alien and unfamiliar everything became. The walls pulsed with soft light, displaying ever-changing patterns of symbols and shapes. It was as if the bunker itself was alive, observing them, testing them at every turn. Princess Thalira floated ahead, her gaze calm but intense. "The first trials were merely an introduction," she said. "Now you will face the trial of courage. Only those who confront fear and uncertainty without hesitation will survive." Elias swallowed. Fear sounds easy to describe, but surviving it is another matter. Mara gave him a brief, determined smile. "We don't have a choice. Let's see what she has planned." The corridor opened into a massive chamber. The ceiling rose into darkness, filled with moving shadows. The floor was uneven, made of transparent panels suspended above a seemingly endless drop. Lights flickered, revealing glimpses of alien machinery far below, spinning and humming with energy. Elias stepped forward cautiously. "This is a long way down." Thalira's voice echoed through the chamber. "Do not look only at what is below, look at what is ahead." Fear is a chain that binds the mind. Courage is the key that unlocks it. As if on cue, a panel of the floor collapsed under Mara's feet. She leapt back, heart racing. "She's testing reflexes too," Elias nodded. "And nerves." The trial wasn't just physical. Floating holographic platforms appeared, moving unpredictably. Some were safe, others would trigger alarms or drop away. A low hum filled the room as robotic drones emerged from hidden alcoves, scanning, analyzing, waiting for a single misstep. Mara observed carefully. "These drones, they react to hesitation. If we move decisively, we can pass safely." "Then no second guessing," Elias said. Step by step, they navigated the shifting platforms, timing their movements to avoid the drones. At one point, Mara extended a scanner to detect weak points in the floor, while Elias created a distraction by triggering a holographic decoy on the opposite side. Their combined human creativity and teamwork allowed them to advance further than anyone before them. Suddenly, the chamber shifted again. A massive wall of energy rose in front of them, glowing with an intense blue light. The drones hovered nearer, their sensors scanning. Thalira's voice rang out. To pass this stage, you must step into the unknown. Your instincts will guide you, but hesitation will cost you dearly. Elias took a deep breath. Unknown, we just have to trust ourselves. He stepped into the energy field. At first, it tingled and vibrated against his skin, making his heart pound. Then, to his surprise, nothing happened. The field reacted to his confidence, allowing him to pass. Mara followed, steadying her breathing. Step by step, they made it through. At the other side, they found themselves in a strange, organic room. The walls were alive with moving patterns, resembling alien coral or neural networks. Shapes moved in 3 dimensions, creating a sense of motion and depth that disoriented them. This, this is like nothing we've ever seen, Mara whispered. Thalira floated to the center. This trial is not just courage of body, but courage of mind. You must navigate your fear, but also your doubts. Humans often hesitate when the unknown challenges their perception. Will you? Elias glanced at the walls, then at Mara. We rely on each other. That's the only way we'll make it. A holographic map appeared in the center of the room, displaying the safest path through the shifting patterns. But it wasn't complete. Large sections were missing, replaced by distorted images and impossible angles. It was a puzzle that required intuition, risk, and quick thinking. Mara studied the map. We can't calculate every move. We have to guess, then correct if needed. Trusting our instincts is the key. Elias nodded, and they began moving through the patterns. Every step required focus. Sometimes the walls seemed to shift as they moved, creating new paths or removing old ones. A misstep could trap them or force them back to the beginning. At one point, Elias nearly fell when a panel tilted unexpectedly. Mara grabbed his arm, steadying him. "We're not giving up," she said firmly. "No," Elias agreed, gripping her hand. "We're human. We adapt." As they progressed, Thalira observed silently. Her expression was unreadable, but there was a faint spark of interest in her eyes. Humans rarely showed such determination. Most would panic or give up when confronted with these tests, but Elias and Mara pressed on, step by step, solving problems that were not just physical but psychological. After what felt like hours, they reached the center of the room. A pedestal rose from the floor, holding a small, glowing cube. It pulsed with energy, seemingly alive. Thalira spoke. "The cube represents the essence of courage. To claim it, you must act without hesitation. Do you?" Elias glanced at Mara. "We do." They approached the cube together. As Elias reached out, the cube projected a vision, memories of past failures, fears, and doubts, magnified and twisted. It showed him moments he had wished he could change, decisions that haunted him. Mara saw her own fears reflected, the danger of failure, the possibility of losing Elias in the trials. The cube tested their resolve. "Face your fear or be consumed by it," Thalira's voice echoed. Elias closed his eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath. "I am human. I make mistakes, but I learn, I adapt, I survive." Mara mirrored his words silently. "Fear cannot stop me. Courage guides me." Together, they reached out and touched the cube. A wave of energy pulsed through the room, but it did not harm them. Instead, it filled them with a sense of clarity and strength. The room's shifting patterns froze, revealing the path forward. Thalira appeared beside the cube, smiling faintly. "You have passed the trial of courage. Few humans possess such resolve. You adapt to danger, trust your instincts, and support each other. That is why you survive where others fail." Elias exhaled, finally allowing himself a small smile. "We did it." Mara laughed softly, still catching her breath. "I think she's starting to respect us." Thalira's gaze was sharp but approving. "Respect is not given lightly. Humans have potential beyond what I expected, but do not grow complacent. The next trials will test your creativity and your very ability to shape reality. Only those who think beyond the limits of the mind will survive." As they moved to the next corridor, Elias felt a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. Every trial pushed them further than they had ever imagined. And yet, the more they survived, the more he realized. Humans were capable of more than aliens like Thalira had ever believed. For the first time, Elias truly understood the meaning of HFY. Not just human courage, but human ingenuity, adaptability, and relentless spirit. The bunker stretched before them, dark and full of unknown trials. The next challenge awaited, promising danger and the chance to prove themselves even further. But Elias and Mara were ready. Together they would face whatever came next, and show that humans, against all odds, could survive anything. Elias and Mara moved forward, the glow from the last chamber fading behind them. The corridor narrowed, the walls smooth and metallic, reflecting their own nervous expressions. They both carried a quiet energy, adrenaline mixed with focus, as they approached whatever challenge awaited them next. Princess Thalira floated before them once more. "You have proven courage, you have proven resolve, but now comes the trial of creativity. Many species survive fear and danger. Few can imagine, innovate, and think beyond their own limits. Humans, can you?" Elias exchanged a glance with Mara. "Creativity, guess it's our turn to shine," Mara smirked. "Or fail spectacularly. Either way, we'll try." The chamber they entered was unlike the others. The walls, floor, and ceiling were made of a translucent material that seemed to bend light. Shapes floated freely in the air, constantly shifting and rearranging themselves. Strange machinery hummed softly in the background, emitting pulses of energy that made the air vibrate. In the center of the room hovered a massive holographic globe. Lines of light crisscrossed it, forming complex geometric patterns, constantly changing as if alive. Around it were floating panels, each displaying fragments of alien technology, alien symbols, and holographic equations. Thalira's voice echoed through the chamber. "The goal is simple: create order from chaos. Assemble the fragments, solve the equations, and reveal the hidden pathway forward. Failure will leave you trapped until your own ingenuity frees you." Elias stepped closer to the floating panels. "These aren't just puzzles, they're tests of logic and imagination. We have to see the connections between them, not just the pieces themselves." Mara's eyes scanned the patterns. "Look at the sequences. They repeat in layers. It's like a musical composition. Each element interacts with the others in harmony. If we follow the rhythm," Elias nodded slowly, "then let's try it, step by step, layer by layer." They began manipulating the panels with careful gestures, rotating pieces, aligning symbols, and observing how the globe's patterns responded. Each small adjustment caused a ripple across the holographic sphere. Sometimes the changes worked as intended, sometimes they triggered unexpected reactions. A floating panel spinning wildly, a light beam shifting direction, a sudden pulse of energy that made the air shimmer. Mara laughed softly. "This is insane, but kind of amazing. I've never worked with anything like this before." Elias grinned. "Nothing in the human fleet comes close, but humans adapt. That's our advantage." As they continued, a new challenge appeared. The panels rearranged themselves rapidly, faster than human eyes could follow. Random patterns formed shapes resembling obstacles, mazes, and even moving paths that seemed impossible to solve. Thalira observed silently. "Notice how the room responds not just to logic, but to intuition. Many species fail here because they rely solely on calculation. Creativity requires trust in yourself and in your partner. You must imagine solutions beyond the limits of conventional thinking. Elias glanced at Mara. We need to trust our instincts more than the patterns themselves. Stop overthinking. Mara nodded. Agreed. Let's combine observation and imagination. If the panels are reacting to us, we can guide them. Working together, they began moving in sync, making gestures that aligned the panels with the globe's light streams. Sometimes one of them had to act quickly to correct a sudden shift, while the other analyzed the overall pattern. Step by step, their human intuition and teamwork shaped the chaos into something ordered. Hours passed, but it didn't feel like work. It felt like creation. The globe's lines began to form a recognizable pathway, connecting panels and beams of light in a flowing network. A soft hum filled the room, growing louder, as if the bunker itself was acknowledging their achievement. Then came the final challenge. A massive holographic wall appeared, filled with thousands of floating symbols and fragments. The globe's pathway extended into the wall, but pieces were missing. The solution required more than pattern recognition. It demanded innovation. Elias took a deep breath. We need to think differently, not just solve it, but invent a solution. Mara's eyes sparkled. We can merge fragments. If we connect these lines like we connected the globe, maybe we can complete the wall. They began working rapidly, moving floating fragments together, testing combinations, discarding failed attempts, and creating new configurations. Occasionally, the symbols reacted unexpectedly, forming shapes that were unlike anything in their understanding. But by trusting their intuition, they adapted, improvising and creating new possibilities. The globe pulsed, brighter and brighter, until finally, a beam of light shot from the sphere to the wall. The floating fragments aligned perfectly, forming a glowing bridge across the chamber. Thalira's voice was calm but filled with approval. Remarkable. You did not simply follow instructions. You imagined new possibilities, shaped reality, and made the impossible possible. That is the essence of creativity. Elias exhaled, leaning against a panel. I can't believe we did it. Mara laughed softly, eyes wide with awe. We actually did it. She respects us, I think. Thalira floated closer. Humans are unpredictable, but that is why you are fascinating. You combine courage, instinct, imagination, and adaptability, traits many species lack. I had doubts, but you have exceeded them. Elias glanced at Mara. We're impressing an alien princess, Mara smirked. Feels strange, but not bad. Thalira continued. There is one final trial. It will test your endurance, leadership, and ability to unify human potential under pressure. If you survive it, the secrets of this bunker and the knowledge it holds will be yours. Fail, and you will remain trapped within these walls forever. Elias felt a chill run down his spine, but also a spark of determination. We've come this far. Humans don't give up. Mara nodded firmly. We're not stopping now. Bring it on. The chamber shifted around them. Walls rotated, revealing a massive central platform surrounded by deep chasms and spinning energy fields. Holographic projectors displayed multiple potential paths, each filled with new obstacles, puzzles, and alien mechanisms. This was a combination of everything they had faced so far: physical challenge, psychological pressure, and creative problem-solving, all combined into a single massive test. Elias glanced at Mara. This is it, the final trial. Mara adjusted her stance. Then we face it together. Humans survive because we work as one. Let's prove it. Thalira's eyes glowed faintly. Humans, your ingenuity and courage have been remarkable, but now the ultimate test begins. Survive, and you will know the full potential of your species. Fail, and the bunker will become your tomb. As the platform began moving, spinning dangerously, and the energy fields pulsed with unpredictable patterns, Elias felt a surge of adrenaline. For the first time, he realized that surviving was not just about skill or luck. It was about human spirit. And humans never stopped striving, never stopped adapting, and never gave up. With a deep breath, Elias and Mara stepped forward into the final trial, ready to prove that humanity could overcome anything, even an alien mind that had tested countless species before them. The central platform shifted under Elias and Mara's feet, spinning slowly while energy fields pulsed around them. Every step required balance, precision, and quick thinking. The air buzzed with tension, and the glow of the alien machinery reflected off the walls, giving the chamber an otherworldly shine. Princess Thalira floated above, observing with calm intensity. "This is the ultimate trial," she said. "All your courage, creativity, and adaptability have led to this moment. What you face now will test not just skill, but the very essence of your humanity." Elias glanced at Mara. "I think she means everything we've learned so far combined." Mara nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "Then let's put it all to use. We've survived this far, there's no turning back." As they moved forward, the platform shifted again, splitting into multiple paths. Each path had its own unique challenges, one filled with moving panels that required precise timing, another with holographic puzzles that changed every second, and a third with energy beams that seemed impossible to pass. Thalira's voice echoed, "Choose your path wisely, humans. But know this, the trial is not about choosing the easiest path. It is about adapting, persevering, and uniting your skills." Elias examined the options. "We can't take just one path. We'll have to split our attention, combine strategies, and watch each other's backs." Mara smiled faintly. "Exactly. We've done it before, we can do it again." They moved forward, stepping onto the first path. Panels rose and fell beneath their feet, forcing them to time their steps with care. Occasionally, a panel would tilt unexpectedly, requiring fast reflexes. Mara took the lead, signaling Elias when a tricky section approached. Elias followed, mimicking her movements while keeping an eye on the adjacent paths. "It's like a dance," he muttered. "Only the floor is alive." Mara laughed softly. "And the stakes are higher." Once across the first section, they approached the holographic puzzle path. Thousands of alien symbols floated in midair, constantly shifting and forming new patterns. Solving it required not just logic, but intuition and imagination. Elias studied the symbols. "We've seen this kind of system before. The key is to recognize repeating patterns, then anticipate the next move." Mara nodded, extending her hand to manipulate the holographic fragments. "We combine what we know with what we imagine. The cube taught us that. We can solve this." They worked in perfect sync, adjusting symbols, testing combinations, and observing how the system responded. The holographic maze gradually formed a path through the floating symbols, revealing a glowing corridor ahead. "Keep going," Elias urged. "The final section is next." The energy beam path was the most dangerous. Beams of light crisscrossed the floor, walls, and ceiling. Any contact would trigger alarms and potentially trap them in a containment field. Timing, observation, and courage were all critical. Mara took a deep breath. "We do it together. I go first, you follow my lead. Trust the timing." Elias nodded. "Ready when you are." Step by step, Mara moved across the beams, carefully measuring each jump, each stretch. Elias mirrored her movements, adjusting slightly to compensate for shifts in the beams. At one point, a beam moved unexpectedly, threatening to knock Mara off balance. Elias grabbed her arm, steadying her. "Thanks," she whispered. "We're almost there." Finally, they reached the end. The beams retracted, revealing a glowing portal at the far side of the chamber. Elias and Mara approached, their hearts pounding with relief and triumph. Princess Thalira appeared beside the portal. Her eyes glowed with an intensity that was both fierce and approving. "Humans, you have survived the ultimate trial. You have demonstrated courage, ingenuity, creativity, and the ability to unite as one. Few species can achieve this. You have proven that humanity is extraordinary." Elias exhaled, finally allowing himself a smile. We did it. Mara laughed softly, leaning against the wall. We really did. I can't believe we made it through all of that. Thalira's expression softened slightly. You have earned my respect and the knowledge of this bunker. Within these walls are technologies and secrets that could advance your species beyond imagination. But with knowledge comes responsibility. Humans, are you ready for it? Elias nodded firmly. We are. We've survived your trials. We will use the knowledge wisely. Mara added. We'll make sure humanity learns, grows, and thrives with it. That's what we do. Thalira studied them for a moment, then extended her hand. A holographic interface appeared, revealing detailed schematics of alien technology, star maps of uncharted regions, and formulas for energy systems far beyond human capability. This knowledge is yours, she said. But remember, survival is not only about strength. It is about intelligence, cooperation, and the courage to face the unknown. Humans, you have all three. Elias stepped forward, examining the schematics. This could change everything. We could explore new star systems, create better energy systems, even expand life to planets we never dreamed of reaching. Mara touched a holographic map. And all because we didn't give up, all because we trusted ourselves and each other. Thalira smiled faintly. Humans are indeed fascinating. You adapt, learn, and overcome. You survive where others fail. You are a species of potential beyond measure. I have no doubt that the future of your kind is bright. For the first time, Elias felt a deep sense of pride, not just in himself but in humanity as a whole. We survived her trials, he said softly, not because of luck but because we are human. We adapt, we think, we never stop trying. Mara nodded, her eyes reflecting the glow of the holographic displays. And we've proven it. Humans can face anything and come out stronger. Thalira's voice echoed one last time. Go forth, humans. Use this knowledge, grow, explore, survive. And remember, the universe respects those who face its challenges with courage, creativity, and heart. You are such humans. As Elias and Mara turned to leave the chamber, the portal shimmered and expanded. Beyond it lay the entrance to the bunker's upper levels and, eventually, the stars themselves. They had completed the trials, but the journey was far from over. The knowledge they now carried could change humanity's destiny. Elias looked at Mara. We've come this far. The universe is waiting, let's take it, Mara smiled. Together, always. With that, they stepped through the portal. The chamber's lights dimmed, the energy fields retracted, and the bunker fell silent, except for the faint hum of alien machinery, waiting for the next species brave enough to face the trials. As they emerged into the stars, Elias and Mara felt a new sense of purpose. Humans had survived what no other species had. Humans had proved themselves to an alien mind that had doubted them, and humanity's journey was only beginning. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a universe full of unknowns. But for the first time, Elias realized that humans were ready, ready to explore, ready to survive, ready to shape their own destiny. And somewhere deep in the bunker, Princess Thalira watched silently, her expression unreadable, yet her eyes reflected something rare, a glimmer of hope for the species she had tested. Humans had faced the impossible and survived. The trials were over. The adventure was just beginning. I'll teach you pleasure, human. If you survive me, Alien Princess licked her lips in the bunker.